Let's turn now to the main citadel of the Mycenaean culture, the one that they're named after, which is Mycenae. Now, Mycenae, as I said before, all of the surrounding citadels, they have these interconnected roads, and all roads lead to Mycenae, which gives us or we interpret that being then that Mycenae was a central point for authority of information, communication throughout the culture. Here is Mycenae citadel today. Whoa, right? All right, so we got a similar outcrop of rock, a natural rise in the landscape. And on top of that natural rise in the landscape are the ruins of a massive citadel. Archaeologists at this site have discovered the citadel expanded as time and as the culture thrived. So the first or the oldest portions of the citadel are on the tippy top. And then as the citadel expanded, or as the population grew, as the power of Mycenae grew, the citadel expanded. And what we see is that the exterior walls, those heavy defensive walls, were taken down and then pushed back and then push back. I believe there are at least 2 phases of expansion in the citadel. Here we are looking at the final expansion of the citadel. And here is the entrance ramp up. Now you might think, oh, that's kind of short. Tiryns had that cool winding one with the gateways. Yes, true. But remember that originally the citadel was way up here, so it would have been an approaching ramp that did wind up and around. It's just that it just got too big, and so the ramp got shorter. Here we are standing at the base of the citadel, looking up it. So you again see how they use the natural rise of the landscape. This is key because it allows for the people inside to make a survey of the land around them. If they're higher up than everything, then they can see when an enemy is approaching. And they can then sound the alarm so that the local villagers can come in. We got invaders, come inside. And then everybody would scramble up and then be hiding behind those defensive walls. Here is the approach of that ramp into the citadel. Check out those exterior walls. Wow, they are massive, right? What is the vocabulary term used to describe this type of heavy masonry? Did you say it? I knew you'd say it. You're so smart. It is. It's Cyclopean masonry. Now here's our first official artwork for the site of Mycenae. So you see here the title, Lion Gate, Mycenae, Greece, and then the dates. I'm putting the dates because you know I like to just give you a frame of reference, but really it's the period style going on. So we're standing here just inside of this wall, right there. And this is the outermost gate. Now remember, just like we saw at Tiryns, the gates are narrow and they help to prohibit lots of people from flooding in. And we see that here. The walls prohibit a massive amount of people from coming in at once, and then the gate limits that even further. This is referred to as the Lion Gate because of the decorations above the gate. We see 2 creatures which, while their heads have been destroyed, we think that they were lions. Why? Because they have very strong feline or cat-like bodies, and also around the Mycenaean sites we found lots of references to lions. Lions again, right? Think about Ashurbanipal and the lion hunt. They love to compare themselves to lions. Lions, these big, strong, ferocious, majestic creatures. Here in Mycenae, they're doing the same thing around the same time. Ah, look at that. To give you a sense of scale, here it is. Let me just pop myself over here. Maybe I'll just go away there. So to give you a sense of scale, here's a man walking through it. It's a wide gate, but let's have an army go through that? No way. So we have Cyclopean masonry, we have a thick defensive wall, we have a narrow gateway, and then above that, perhaps this was some kind of a marking of the king who lived here at Mycenae. Perhaps it is some kind of identification of Mycenae culture. Maybe they identified as lions. Here. Just so that you remember, we've been talking about citadels. We've been talking about creatures who would be at gates. Do you remember the beautiful Lamassu? I don't know if I included this specific image in the Assyrian lecture, but that's me. That's me in, sorry, Siri wanted to talk to me. That's me in 2012? Yeah, 2012 at the British Museum in England, in London. Anyways, Lamassu. What is a Lamassu? Flip it. Flip back through your notes. Go, go, go. I'm waiting. Lamassu, guardians. The perfect guardians, because they have the intellect of a man, they have the wings and swiftness of an eagle, they have the bulk or the weight and strength of a bull, and then oftentimes the lion ferocity of a lion feet. Okay, taking that idea of a guardian creature, let's apply it here. Guardian creature. A lion? 2 lions? Yeah. Lions flanking a gate. It's a safe assumption that they are some kind of a guardians. Identification with the king of Mycenae and guardians? Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I will say that they have their own writing system that's similar to the Minoan, and it's called Linear B, or we refer to it as Linear B. We haven't quite been able to translate Linear B, but we're closer to it than Linear A. Come on, if you love language, you need to get on this. You need to start translating Linear B and Linear A and mention me in your Nobel Prize speech. Thank you. I know I made that joke before. I'm making it again because it's important. I need to be involved in your Nobel Prize acceptance speech. So here we are. We're looking at the Lion Gate, and I want us to pay attention now to a type of construction. So we saw corbel at Tiryns. This is another type of construction. This is called post and lintel. Post and lintel, a system of construction in which 2 posts support a lintel. And then to help identify where I'm talking about, it's this right here. To help you understand a little bit more, let's have this diagram. In this diagram, we see 2 posts holding up a lintel. Now you might be like, wait a minute, Miss Cortez, you already talked about this with Stonehenge. I did. Good memory. I'm just bringing it up again here because I want you to remember these terms and remember this type of construction, because we're going to be seeing this type of construction on and on and on. The Greeks, when they make their Greek temples, they love post and lintel construction. We didn't even talk about it, but the Egyptians with their temples to Amun-Re love post and lintel construction. I'm just mentioning it again because I want you to remember it. Put it into your soft brains. So we have our post, we have our lintel. We have posts and a lintel. And then here's a new term. This area that's filled in by the decorative lions. The lions are filling in a space called a cantilevered arch. Oh, you know what? This is a new term. I already gave you this term with the Tirans. But you see what I'm talking about? Cantilever, a little bit in, a little bit in, a little bit in. Okay. The reason I mention that is because of this new term. I'm not losing my mind, I promise. Relieving triangle. So the cantilevered arch comes together to create a void, an empty space that has been filled with a different sculpture. This type of construction is called a relieving triangle. A corbelled arch, triangle shape, where the weight is transferred to the sides of an area over a stone lintel. Miss Cortez, what are you talking about? I'm so confused. Don't be confused. It's okay. Look. Here. The two posts hold up a lintel. And then there's this heavy wall. That lintel can only carry so much weight before it breaks. The lintel can only hold so much weight before it breaks. So to create this relieving triangle puts all the weight of that heavy wall away from the lintel down to the posts, which have better control over gravity. The lintel can only carry so much weight before it cracks, and then the whole thing collapses. So you relieve the pressure with that triangle. Now I know what you're thinking, because I thought the same thing when I was a student. Well, then why did you fill it in with some other stone? Okay, good question. The stone that makes up the lions, oh, look at this. Isn't this great? This is, oh goodness, this is a photo from the early 1900s, and these are some tourists, and look at how you were able to just walk all over the place. I know, crazy, right? But look, here's the back half of the relieving triangle. What I'm trying to emphasize here is that while the stonework is big and bulky, the stonework that makes up the lions was relatively thin and therefore relatively light. Therefore, not so much stress on the lintel. What's really unfortunate is that we don't know what those heads would have looked like for those lions. But here you can see how the musculature is delineated, showing their strength. Look at these veins. It's very remarkably similar to the same kind of vein work and muscles of the lions in Ashurbanipal's stonework. And I'm going to say it, they probably knew each other. I mean, not specifically Ashurbanipal and whoever the king was at the time, but the Mycenaean culture and the Near East, they trade. They know each other. So why not exchange ideas, or maybe hire artists from the ancient Near East to come and do this block of stone for your citadel in Mycenae? So we have this international connections in art, or manifesting in art. The reason that the heads are gone, you know the answer to that. You take away somebody's power by taking away their face. And these most likely were destroyed with the fall of Mycenaean culture. What's very curious about these two lions is that they stand up on a platform flanking a column, and not just any column. The column has a squishy capital, and it's wider on the top, and it tapers down, and it's narrow on the bottom. What is that column? I'm waiting for you to say it. Look at your notes. Earlier today. Minoan. A Minoan column. So we see two Mycenaean lions flanking a Minoan column. Perhaps this is some statement of their dominance over the glory of the Minoan civilization. Ooh. Also, artists or art historians have suggested that perhaps the lion heads were made of a different material. There is evidence to show that there was some kind of like a hole or a post that may have indicated that they were inserted, heads were inserted onto these stone bodies. If that's the case, what kind of stonework? Or even maybe something like this. Yes. This is a gold lion head that was found in Mycenae at the Citadel. It's not the same size or scale of the lion heads, but the stylization, the fact that it is a lion head, suggests that maybe this type of decadent metalwork was, or impressive metalwork was used for those lion heads. Cool, right? I know. Yeah.